just can't stop, won't stop hustling. But I just
BMF Season 1, Episode 3, entitled Love All, Trust Few. I had to read that from my notes. You know I'm old, I can't remember shit. But anyway, what up, ladies and gentlemen? If you're new to the channel, I go by the name of the Black Abstract, a.k.a. the Flyest and the Low, a.k.a. The cutest YouTuber doing this damn thing. But anyway, if you're new, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. I want to dive right into this episode. And listen, dude, I know what we say about these shows. And I had a discussion with my boy last night. Shout out to King Brother. These shows are redundant. These shows that stars are airing. It's all about the same. It's plot lines, different stories that weave in between it, but it's all the same story. And he was just like, you know, how many times they're going to keep playing this or doing this, yada, 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 da. And I'm like, well, the thing about BMF is it's true story. Obviously, they got some fictional details in there. But this is the truest thing we're going to get to, a real story. But I had to tell him, this is the narrative of every hood story. It's an underdog story. You got somebody that's just more ambitious than the next person and is willing to do whatever they can to get to the top. Whether it's knocking somebody else down or doing what they got to do, that's just what it is. And it's not about the whole. It's about the things, the details in between. And this show has the ability to be better than say a Power, just because one, I think it's a true story. It hits true to home, and it's just better storytelling and better actors. Let's just be real. And I'm excluding Raising Kanan because Patina Miller, that cast is phenomenal, hands down, bar none, phenomenal. They to me are kind of like where Snowfall is. You know how those actors on that show are phenomenal. It's just a bar they set. You know how I feel about Power Book 2 Ghost. I ain't gonna get into that though. That's a whole nother subject. But I think these are all on the same level. BMF, Raising Kanan, and then Snowfall. I'll put Snowfall slightly above it because I just think the acting is a little, and the story is a little more, I don't know. I don't want to say transparent, but I just think they go all in with they storytelling over there. But anyway, and it's giving you a different flavor. New York, LA, Detroit. A lot of people say that the issue they have with BMF is that the accents aren't true to Detroit accents. I don't know how they talk back in the 80s, so I couldn't give you a honest answer for that, but I will say some of the verbiage they were using were today's. Something was said, and I was just like, nigga, that's what they say nowadays. Was they using that back then, or was that like a slip up? So you gotta understand these shows, they not flawless. There's gonna be some slip ups. But let's get into the episode. I really like this episode because it displays Meech's leadership. Yes, Meech gets on my nerves sometimes because of the way he treats people, but you gotta understand, dude, you in a drug game. It ain't no time for no nonsense. This is a life or death game. We see at the beginning Meech is driving and Pat pulls up on him, and he got plastic on his seats. I'm like, yo, if he was meant to intimidate somebody, he did just that. Cause so when he got in, I said, why the fuck he got plastic on his seats? And I'm like, oh, yeah, he ain't playing around. He tells Meech, listen, you got 6 days to get my cash. And Meech's like, listen, I was dealing with this shit from my brother. And this is what Terry told him in the last episode. Take care of the business. Don't worry about me. Just handle the business. Meech wasn't trying to hear that. He got a little behind. So he owes Pat some bread. And he has 6 days to get the bread. And not on top of that, Pat has taxed him 10% on top of what he owes. Meech gets out the car and Pat's driver is like, yo, listen, you know he ain't gonna be able to climb up for this. And Pat like, yo, that's the point. I don't need them trying to come up from under me. I need them beneath me. And that was kind of what we saw in the first episode, that he didn't want them to kind of exceed him, which is going to happen anyway. But that's just that crab in the barrel bucket mentality. Like, you want to, he said, I could keep my foot on their necks. They don't need to be coming. But you got somebody super ambitious like Meech who's observant. And I know Terry is the brains of it. But so far, Meech has been proven proving why he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's this legendary figure, and shout out to him, respect. So Meech has to find a way to push all this. He got to find a way to get this shit off quick and fast, because if he doesn't, obviously I don't think Pat's going to do anything to him, but he don't know that. He don't know that at all. So he tries to. He comes up with a. He talks to Terry about it, who's getting. We get introduced to Snoop Dogg's character, who's this pastor. I don't know, pastor something. Pastor Dog. We're going to call him that. Who is trying to give his blessing to Terry and his baby and to the family. And he just seems like a scammer. It's going to be something with him in the past or in the future that comes up, and we're going to see what happens. So he's trying to tell them about the mortgage, how he can help them, yada, yada, yada. The pops is like, no, not happening. And listen, I'm a homeowner. I'm a father. I got a family. I've been behind on mortgage. I know how it is. But I'd be if my son's selling millions of dollars worth of dope, I'm taking the money. I don't give a fuck. That's just that's just the type of. All right, yeah. You need to earn your keep. You ain't gonna be living in here for free. You gotta pay something. But he's so caught up in being the head of the household or the man of the house. He think that's like belittle his authority. If they start paying it, he think that he gonna be kind of like less of a man. Well, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody needs some help or need a helping hand. If you don't want to do, if that's the case, just tell your wife to start working. You know what I'm saying? Tell her to get off her ass and she got to go make some money too. Obviously, your checks ain't cutting it. And she tells him this. Listen, this ain't nothing. A couple of shifts, extra shifts can help. You know what I'm saying? This is something like you need another job. You got to pick up a second job. Or fucking, let's take the fucking money. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'd rather just be homeless and have his pride intact versus just take the money and then, I guess, feel like less of a man or whatnot. But anyway, police come over and they trying to question Terry about the night he got shot. Same cop that helps about Terry and Meech. And his partner's like, yeah, the police said, the hospital said you came up with a Benz with a cracked window or shattered window, yada, yada, yada. I don't remember a window getting shattered, but hey, you know, minor details. I didn't think he got shot through a window. I thought the door was open, but hey, who knows? I don't know. It's just like I said, it's going to be floss. But his girl she says, oh, that's my Uncle Troy's car, yada, yada, yada. He stays near the Silver Dome. I'm like, yeah, she a rider. I like his girl too, man. I think she definitely like the definition of a ride or die chick. And when she got upset at the bowling alley, I knew she was gonna get upset when he did that. Cause when he did that, I was just like, yo, why wouldn't you, dude? You just got shot. You got shit going on. You gotta walk her to the car. Have one of your dudes walk her to the. Walk her to the car. Have one of your guys walk with you to make sure she's safe. That's the mother of your child. You can't, like, and then you got a rival gang that's in there. Like, somebody could kidnap, do something to her. Like, that's crazy. And then they said something later in the show that 85, 86 was the murder cap. Detroit was the murder capital or something. So, and he was like, that's when me and T got in the game or some shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? But he young. You gotta think he's still young, man. So, but she calls him on it and corrects him on it. And that's what women do, man. Like, women that are ahead of you, just like psychologically, like, women are a little more mature than men. So he wasn't at that level yet. But she told him, and he corrected it like he should have. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't no simp shit. That's the mother. You gotta think that's the mom of his child, and that's who he's with. He's with her. You know what I'm saying? They haven't displayed that he has other women. He's with her. That's just something you supposed to do. But anyway, the dad's trying to pry now into who is, like, if Terry's in the game or not. And it's just like, dude, you know he's in the game. You know he's fucking in the game. Like, stop. But the whole episode was about just like, just like the trust Terry and Meech have between each other, man. And like, in displaying when they put their mind together what they can accomplish. And it starts off, you see at the beginning they getting their ass whooped. One of them is making I never even heard this before, a meatloaf burger sandwich or some shit like that. I was like, what the fuck is that? I never heard of that. And just like a kid, he take half the ground beef, put it in and leaves a little ass piece, and he's like, oh hell no, you're gonna have to split that. Did you make some for me and Nicole? He like, oh hell no, we gonna have to split that. And they get into a little beef or whatever, and then they wind up breaking the china, and the sister comes in, oh y'all in trouble, and they like, well, we could try to crazy glue it back together, and they put their minds together and came up with a solution. And even though it didn't work, they took the consequences together. You know what I'm saying? Like true brothers. And I told y'all before, I love the camaraderie these two have. No matter what kind of spat they get in, they always come to a resolve and figure it out, and they listen. So when Terry's like, listen, I told you about this, the factory workers, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like Terry is good for coming up and creating the idea. Meech is good for executing the idea. So he comes up with the idea to sell to factory workers because, listen, you work in a factory. Listen, everybody, construction workers, factory workers, they all got a vice. I work construction. I know that for a fact. They all got a vice. They all come up with some kind of resolution to better their day. They need something where they smoke weed, they smoke whatever. They do something. And so it's just about execution. So he like, yo, I'm gonna put B Mickey on it, yada yada yada. He comes up, he had B Mickey and them just posting out there. They just posting out there like it's a block. Like, yo, I'm like, yo, this ain't gonna work. Like, y'all can't do this. So the security guy comes and warns him and Kato, like, yo, you gotta get out of here. He insinuates that Kato is a hoe or a prostitute. So he don't even think they selling dope. He think they selling box. And Mickey like beat Mickey like, yo, did you just call her a hoe? Man, and I'm like, oh, they gotta be doing something now. He defending her honor. They gotta be smashing. And I don't want to get into it yet, but the revelation, man, it is a traitor amongst the crew. Oh, it hurt my heart too, cause I love Kato, man. Think she dope, man. I thought she was dope. Thought she was ride or die. Come to find out, that's not the truth. Oh man, this sucks. But anyway, so anyway, Meech comes up and he's yelling at B Mickey again, and she comes up like, yo, is anything good between you and Meech? And he like, yo, that's family. Like, we gonna argue, we gonna do this, with that, but at the end of the day, that's my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I respect that, because at first I was just like, what the fuck happened to, I'm like, yo, is something gonna happen between these two? Like, but B Mickey is ride or die. Like, he's official, he's a good soldier to have, but he ain't the smartest, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to his decision making. But like I said, like, I love Meech's. Meech is a hothead, and I kind of be like, oh, he talking to people a certain way, but he has to be that way, because if not, everything would be lackadaisical. So he come up with the plan, just observing. He see the food trucks moving in, and then you gotta think this is a whole day they probably was sitting out here watching to see how this shit operates. So they see the food trucks. They see it's one food truck that's not on a lot. So he uses that opportunity to talk to Fonzo, whatever. I think this guy's name was Fonz. And the guy's like, listen, I'm not paying $500 to get a permit to park on that joint. It's not happening. So, you know, that ain't shit to them. You're like, all right, $500. All right, yo, listen, I'm going to do this for you. Da, da, da. He gets the permit for him. They're like, yo, what's the catch? I know you something come with it. He like, well, we want to sell rock out of here. He like, oh, no, hell no, that ain't happening. And Terry kept insulting his truck. You know, Terry a little bougie. He's like, man, this little roach coach, like, what is this? Dude, like, yo, man, you gonna stop disrespecting my truck? That was a funny little reaction between them, dude. He even got the knife out. He's like, yo, listen, man. He like, yo, chill. Me's like, yo, chill, stop insulting him. So they get the guy to agree to whatever. They get the guy to agree. Listen, the guy gets to keep all his profits from whatever he makes. He gets a stack of money from Terry and Meech every week. And on top of that, he got his permit. If that ain't a sweet motherfucking deal, I don't know what is, man. And they like, yo, he was like, and Meech broke it down like, yo, me and my brother used to cut out pictures of cars we wanted when we were younger to kind of display, where we wanted to be in life. And He was like, yo, don't you got dreams, aspirations? He's like, well, I want to own a restaurant. He like, yo, there you go. So, hey, man, maybe that might work out in the future for them. You know what I'm saying? When they want to go legit or something, they got cuz he could run a restaurant for them or something, man. Everything is endless with these young dudes. And they don't even see this yet. They don't even see how they can legitimize their money by venturing to other things. You know what I mean? They can start small. Get a barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your money, get a barbershop, get a master barber. Have him run a joint. You can use it as a front for whatever. You know what I'm saying? They not thinking like that, yo. They still young. But like I said, it's endless. The possibilities they can do. So anyway, they get this shit up and running, and this shit is booming. And in order to get people to find out who does the drugs, they got to go to the strip club. They doing all this recon work, and I'm like, Lord, they really like, they really executing this, and I love it. And they go to the strip club. They see this one worker, and he like, yo, why you keep paying that stripper? And he was like, yo, I'm paying her to let me know who smoke rock and who don't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, Meech is a genius, man. Like I'm liking the way he's thinking. And they find the dude, and he sees him the next day. He was like, yo, ask for a stone burger. I just thought about that, a stone burger, because it's rock. Get it? That's funny. And he asked for one, and listen, he got it. He get it. He got it. He he asked for 5 fries and a stone burger, and I'm like, yo, this is genius. This is genius level shit right here. And they business is up and running. He goes to his normal block that he got his hustlers on. You see one of his boys talking to a white dude, and one of their rules, I guess, is they don't sell to white people, because Detroit at that time was predominantly black. So if you talking to a white person, automatically a police, could be an undercover, and they don't walk up to cars too. That's one of their rules. So he kicked this young boy in his ass. I'm like, yo, that's something I would have did. Yo, I really was liking Meech in this episode, dude. I really was. And he motivates his guys. And that's what you're supposed to do. You motivate your workers. Like he said, you don't crack the whip on them all the time and come down. Sometimes you got to be motivational. So he take off his Rolex, like, listen, whoever moved the most shit, they get this Rolex. You know what I'm saying? So they like, oh, shit. They like, yo, we going to town. That's something else I would do. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I do with anything, I always try to motivate somebody. Yo, I'll give you such and such if you get this done in this amount of time or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I told my daughter, like, yo, I'll give you $50. Fold these clothes by the end of the week. She still ain't do it yet. Entitled. But we see that Lamar is kind of running 12th Street, but not really. The dude he beat up, I guess he put a hurting on him real bad. He's still in the hospital. And 12th Street boys think that Meech and them did it. So they want to just go over there, shoot him up on some shit. So I'm like, oh, boy, here comes some more problems. But come to find out, it was actually... we actually know Lamar did it, but him and his man is telling them, like, listen, we got to make sure that we don't do nothing to, we got to make sure we play this smart. We got to hit them where it hurts. So they like, yo, we got to learn out they stash. We got to do whatever we can to make sure that nothing like that, this don't trace back to us, but also just be strategic about it. We want to hit them hard. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I like Lamar. You know how I feel about Lamar. He's probably one of my favorite characters on the show, if not my favorite character. Just cause he a loose cannon. And I told you how I feel about his light-skinned partner. I like dude a lot too, man. They some little scheming, conniving type dudes, but they strategic and they smart about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, listen, if Lamar put all this effort into being legit or just actually getting a real job and changing his life for real, he could probably be somebody, but he just trying to relive his glory days. I guess nothing wrong with that. I don't know, I'm trying to look at some other notes. All right, so we see that the detective that actually messed with Meech and them has got in news that J-Mo has been reported missing reported missing for a few days now. He like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he didn't know this. So he plays it off, though, like, man, I don't even know who that is. And he like, oh, you sure? Because earlier in the show, when they left the Flannery's house, his partner implied that he was being kind of lackadaisical with Meech and Terry, and he's like, listen, man, when you was aiming how to piss, I was out here running these streets. So he brings that back up. He's like, well, I'm surprised you don't know J-Mo because, like you said, when I was learning how to piss, you were out here. And he goes and confronts Meech and Terry, and Meech plays it off well, like, oh no, don't, that's not what happened, blah, yada, yada, yada. And they get in the car, and Terry's like, yo, what the? He's like, yo, what happened? Like, what happened to J-Mo? And then Meech telling him, like, listen, man, B. Mickey popped him. And Terry like, what? Why would he do that? Like, why would he do that? And I'm looking like, this dude's a pussy. He ain't about that murder game. No, I'm just... I be talking like I'm super tough and shit, right? Like, man, I would have... Like, this shit. Like, this shit. But, but he like, yo, man, what happened, blah, yada, yada. I'm like, man, I don't even know. No, Meech's like, listen, I don't know why he did it. He's like, man, I had the joint to him. And he was like, I was trying to see if he shot you or had something to do with it. And he said, B Mickey just fired on him. But it's like B Mickey said, like, people think he did it. Whether he did it or not, you got to handle it. You know what I'm saying? So with him being missing, that looked good for Meech. That looked good for them. You know what I'm saying? But he like, yo, where'd he hide the body? And he like, man, I don't know. He threw it in the river somewhere. So hopefully that body don't pop up because it ain't going to be good for Meech. But the officer also warns him that we saw that they making a task force targeting drug dealers. So I don't know if this is going to be part of this season or if this is something that's going to come up in the second season to where they're going against this. But man, I wanted to Google that the officer that was in charge, the female, to see if she was like a real person. I think I ain't get around to it though. I saw this I watched this documentary or this TV show on Big 50 yesterday. Now, she was from Detroit. She was getting money. And I was like, yo, I wonder if they based Kato off her character or was she based off of, it was another female that was in BMF who was supposed to be like the first lady. So I don't think now so because of what Kato's what we find out from Kato that she's working with Lamar all along. She's been a mole inside the organization, and I don't know if she's like a double agent. Maybe she's working with Meech and Lamar and crossing them, but they don't seem like that. But I know she went to the bathroom. Lamar was in there waiting for her, and at first we like, yo, oh, he about to do something to her, and she like, oh, you know, you ain't nobody saw you come in here, did you? Did they? And he was like, no, you know I'm slick. And he told us like, listen, I want to know everything. And then he locked the door like the Intimidator. I'm like, oh shit. So, that saddened my heart, man. Kato, you fucking traitor. But look, let's talk about how Wood Harris's character Pat kept popping up everywhere. They was at the factory. He peels off. They at the strip club. He come out of nowhere. Oh, this what y'all doing? I said, yo, this dude is crazy. Terry like, yo, how did he pop up on us like this? Like, what's... Me's like, man, the man been following us. I'm like, yo, if y'all let motherfuckers follow y'all that easy, it ain't good. The pops comes by the house to see Terry and the baby, and he's asking Terry's baby mom more questions about the car, about where the uncle's from. They tell him he's from a Silverdome. Terry happens to walk in, and he corroborates the same story. So they had the story straight. Maybe she really do got an uncle named Troy. I don't know. But, you know, Terry's smart. He always crosses his T's and dots his I's. So I'm like, man, this is crazy. We'll see what happens with that. Man, I don't know why the pops is so concerned. Like, what did he just want to kick both his sons out? We saw earlier that he kicked Meech out. He took his key when he came in the house. Terry had to kick it with him in the car. And then we come to find out Meech actually paid the house mortgage for them. And then the mom confronts Meech about it. And, you know, the mom, she tried to play like she ain't down with the shits, but she down with the shits. And she like, you know, he like, yo, what if your father find out? And he like, yo, I'll just tell him myself. And then he was just like, yo, what? He was like, I don't understand why I'm paying the mortgage on the house and I can't even stay in. I'm thinking in my head, like, dude, it's time for you to get your own spot anyway. Like, you're trying to get off the breast milk. But I understand. Hey, listen, he want to be around his fam. He's still a mama's boy at heart. But it's just a fucked up situation, man. I don't like the dad at all. I don't. I'm trying to see it from his perspective, but it's like, yo, if you cannot talk him out of something he's already knee deep in. The best thing to do is try to shield him as much as you can, because you seen what happened to your other son. So you blaming Meech, or you like, yo, this is, sometimes it's just inevitable. You just do the best you can to try to protect them as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, man. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that situation. But we see that he actually does find out, and he gives Meech his key back, and he said, so since you want to be the man in the house, or since you so adamant about him paying our bills and stuff, it looked like he the man in the house. And I'm like, okay, this is what it's about. His ego is bruised. He just don't want his ego to be bruised. We saw that they wind up paying Pat back, and Meech walks in and greet him. And listen, for some reason I thought they was gonna get robbed or something and be in a deeper hole with Pat. But he walks in to pay Pat, and he's just like, yo, I don't know why the dude let him in. He know Pat was back there getting high, but we see Pat is getting high. And he got some girl in there. They all spaced out. Pat spaced out. He's like, oh, what's up, man? What's up? And Meech just looking at him funny as hell. Like, nigga, you a user? Like, and I just think he looked at him like, yo, nigga, you weak as hell. Like, that's what you wanted the money for, so you could buy more drugs so you could use, or who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, but he wind up paying them. So he talking about getting more from Pat and just doing their own shit, cooking their own shit up. So we'll see where that relationship goes. But I think Meech just lost tremendous respect for him, because that wasn't a good sight to see. We see Lamar pays a visit to, I believe his name is Leroy, in the hospital. The dude who's supposed to take place of I just said his name. Dude that got killed. But Lamar's making sure that doesn't happen. He's like, he torching this dude in the hospital, poking him. Playing with his morphine bag, squeezing his face. Like, dude is in tremendous pain. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know he beat him up that bad. And it's crazy because Lamar is unscathed. Man, he was giving Lamar some business too. And I'm like, Lamar ain't got no licks on him. But anyway, he wind up telling dude, like, yo, you better get the fuck out of here, or like, it's not going to be good for you. But I'm like, yo, at this point, you might as well just knocked him off, because he going to say something to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But dude wind up pissing himself, man. I'm like, he was on Snowfall. I don't know if y'all remember, man. He played a bad role then. I'm like, this dude always got to do some crazy shit, or always go out a crazy way. So, so Lamar is like the man in charge now. We actually see that he's back talking to his daughter and cashed out. She's letting him come over. And that's what females be, man. They be so, what Chris Brown say, these ain't loyal. Ain't loyal. So Lamar done wiggled his way back in there, and she like, listen, I don't know if you gonna be around, so I ain't trying to hurt her. He's like, yeah, I'm telling you, baby, I'm gonna be around. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. And she like, okay, and so you're going for it. And then we see at the end, we see Meech go up to the door, and she pulled the same shit she paid on Lamar at the beginning on Meech now. And he like, yo, man, your phone broke or something? And she like, yo, I ain't got time for this. Blah, blah, blah. He like, man, I don't care who you got in there, man. I'm trying to talk to you about something, man. I'm trying to warn you about such and such, man. He dangerous. And then this nigga open the door, and he like, man, get out of here. And Meech pulls out his gun. He's like, oh, okay, I see how it is. Like, yeah, you lucky. I'm like, if only Meech knew, man. But it walks out with a great dialogue saying like about trust or something shit. I can't remember. I'm old. I told y'all. All in all, love this episode. I'm trying to think. This might have been my favorite episode of the season so far. Yeah, I really like this episode a lot. I like the leadership it displayed for Meech. I like how they came up with the idea to get their shit off. It was real smart, man, and it lets you know that Meech is a survivor and he's a perseverer. So not only is he trying to get this money up for Pat, he done paid the mom mortgage in the meantime. He done gave away a free Rolex. All White just handling shit on his own because Terry not really too caught up in it, and Terry's kind of mad like, yo, why people playing him short. It's just like, cause you're not really present like that, and you're not like dominant. But he's like, man, I'm about to start ruling with an iron fist or iron hand because Kato got smart with him. He's like, yo, what you say to me? And it's like, dude, they don't respect you like that. And I see why Meech is always kind of like, he always kind of got like that temperament with them because, like you said, like it's just like people will take your kindness for a weakness. And I think that's what they kind of do with Terry. Probably look at him weak. He got shot. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really do nothing to it, but that's why Meech had to step in and handle it. But Meech didn't even handle it. Being Mickey did. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But one thing that's for sure is that the love the two brothers got for each other is unconditional, and love they got for their family is unconditional. You know what I'm saying? Even with they punk ass daddy. But let me know what you guys think about it. If it's anything I left out, let's post it in the comments below. We could talk about it. I think I got everything, man. I'm getting better. But make sure you like, subscribe. If you need some merch, go to iamtrill.com. Cash App below. ZacNeedCash if you want to donate to the channel and help a brother out. But as always, peace, love, and prosperity. And go Bills.